Welcome to the House of Rudy. I am happy you are here today. I'm so pumped to be here for episode 1, man. Many of you know I had a podcast called the Everyday Guy Podcast. I did about 50 episodes. I had a lot of fun doing it. I started EGP last year. It was, I believe, in March of last year, right when the pandemic just first started. I was having like an emotional roller coaster of a time, and it just was like a hard place in my life at that moment. But I wanted to do the podcast, and I wanted to see what I can make of it, and kind of like test the waters a little bit. And EGP was a really good practice podcast. I learned a lot from doing it. I grew it pretty fast, and I put some, half-butt effort into it, dude. And I didn't put my whole heart into it. I was just messing around a lot. I didn't write each show. I wasn't focused on what I wanted from the show and what I want my listeners to hear. And I just threw things at the wall to see if they'll stick, honestly. And look, I got a 9 to 5 outside of this studio. I'm a professional in my education industry, and I do this podcast out of my own interest. And this is not my hobby. This is not my side gig. This is my passion. I truly love doing this. I love the freedom of having to put everything up in my studio. This is my passion because I get to express myself on my platform, and I don't have to conform to any other media's agendas. I'm tired of listening to media platforms push their political or sometimes religious or some certain agenda on their listeners. Life should be fair, and media should be fair in my eyes. Get your point across. If you're a journalist, be a journalist and be a teller of your time. Don't bolster your time. It doesn't make sense to me. And that's why I have this show here. I'll refer to this show as my house a lot. You'll hear me refer to it. And I'll explain as episodes go on of what I wanted out of this little ambiance I have here, this setting. I want it to be mellow. I want to just you'll hear about it. But in my house, there is no agenda other than having a pure conversation. And let me break down what I mean by that. Conversation is broken down into four parts: debate, dialogue, discourse, and diatribe. And debate is a two-way conversation type, but it's competitive, and the purpose is to obviously win or push your point across. Then there's dialogue. Dialogue is another two-way, but it's a little more cooperative. And it focuses on exchanging information and building relationships. Discourse is really just a one-way and cooperative type with a focus on delivering information. You use that at work a lot. Discourse. Diatribe is a one-way type, and it's competitive, but it's meant, it's shown with emotion and browbeat and meant to inspire. And the reason I explain that is because I want the purest form of conversation, and in this house, I want to use debate and dialogue, and this way I can exacerbate the importance of two-way communication. And one part of the definition of conversation that I feel is missing but yet important is I cherish the importance of listening and attempting to understand people's points. Dude, a lot of people don't do that. Excuse me, I'm gonna drink some water. That's the only agenda I have. To have a pure conversation full of debate and dialogue, to understand each other. And Oh, and when someone is asking questions, that doesn't mean they believe the opposite, or that their question expresses their own beliefs. People often get that mixed up, an example of this is in politics. Let's say someone is a politician, and if I ask a question, or if somebody's a Republican, and I ask a question about something negative that the Republican Party has done, sometimes people will ask me, well, are you a Democrat? Are you on the opposite team? Are you against me? And don't do that. It doesn't help anyone. That's not conversation. That's just, it's BS, man. You're wasting your time talking to somebody like that, and I don't want to waste my time. So there it is, and that's what I want the show to be. I want it to be a pure conversation between like-minded or sometimes not like-minded individuals. I want somebody to push against me, challenge me, and the only thing I ask is to come and enjoy this moment. Whether the conversation or the topic is difficult, or sometimes there's no agreement, just enjoy the moment, man. Because the fact that we're able to do this conversation is what prides me. It's what the show is, and it's what I want it to continue to be. And that's why you're in this house. That's what this is. This is my house. My house. Anyways, back to the main point of the show. Some of you don't even know me, so let's hear. Let's hear it. My name is Rudy Marquez, and as you know, I'm the host. I'm also the producer, editor, stagehand, security, handyman, everything of the show. I was the creator of the Everyday Guy podcast. That ran for about 7 months. It was my first podcast. I started just doing it on a balcony, and now I have it in my friend's warehouse. And I just got to say thank you to that friend. I will not mention his or her name. And I thank you, because I'll be honest, I don't ever hear from this guy or girl. Ever. There's nothing like, hey, your studio looks stupid, or hey, can you move this or that, or hey, you're doing this. I never hear from that dude and or girl. And I love it, and I love him or her, and I'm just grateful. So thank you. You know who you are. I don't want to say your name because you're kind of mythical. You know who you are. Anyways, thank you for letting me have this. I am always grateful, man, or girl. And back to who I am. I'm a single father of two little girls, Gabs and Audrey. You'll hear them all the time in the show. One of them is 5, and one of them is gonna be 10 this year. Oh my gosh. 10 years old. I was 23 when I had my daughter. 23. I had nothing. I don't even know what the heck I was doing. I saw a picture of me and my ex-wife the other day that my mom had, that we just came across, and man, we look like babies. We look like babies, man. And 23 years old, I didn't know anything about life, man. I did it, dude. I didn't know anything about life, and the fact of the matter is, I tried to pretend I did, and it never freaking it never worked. Well, I mean, some of it worked, dude. I'm here. You know what I'm saying? I'm still alive. I'm doing okay. And I pushed through. But there were some moments that were just dude, what am I doing here? But I was obviously once married to the mother of my children. And but I got divorced in 2016, and we co-parent much better than we ever did when we were married. And I am single. I was once engaged after my divorce, but she called that off, and that's that. Here I am. I'm just focusing on myself and pushing forward, and trying to always be a good man. I'm a confusing man at times. I'm super contemplative, and I'm always in my head. And always, dude, I'm always in my head. And I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety, and I'm on the spectrum for bipolar disorder. And what that means is, like, I kind of have bipolar tendencies. I had. And but I'm not, like, bipolar tendencies sometimes go for long periods of time, and really it hasn't for me. However, I got a great hold on it, and I've been in therapy. I've done a ton of just internal work, while also with medication, and also with therapy as well, and it's really paying off, and I feel much more centered and much more self-aware more than I've ever felt in my entire life, dude. And there goes a street bike going by. A street bike. I don't know how to use that. It's just a street bike going by. All my listeners that aren't watching on YouTube, like, yeah, dude, that's what it was, street bike. Anyways, I've hit some extreme lows in my life, and I made a few mistakes in my life. And you know, I'm a tried man, dude. You know, I think, I don't want to say every man is, because men all have different experiences of what they've done in their lives to be a man, I guess. But me, I've been through it, you know. It's not easy, but you got to keep fighting. You don't want to just bury your head down and not face the issues that you got, you know. Call them out, man. Sometimes you just got to take all your BS and throw it on the table and call it what it is. You know, what is this? Why did I act this way at this point? Where did that come from? Oh, that's where it came from. It could be tied to your dad. It could be tied to your mom. And a lot of men have mother issues. And maybe their mother wasn't what they wanted or needed in their life. So they became angry or hateful towards women. And then some men, like, just don't care. They don't want to face that. And that's fine too. If you're happy and you're content in your life, then do you, man. Whatever that is, do you. For me, I'm doing this podcast. It makes me happy and content. I'm doing me. Everybody has their own thing. Do it, man. Or girl. Do it. Really. There shouldn't be anything to stop you. And if this show, this podcast, doesn't work out, I know I tried. And I'm putting in the effort now into making the show a legitimate, display of a conversation. And overall, I strive to be a good man. And that's it, a good man by my standard. And I'm hopeful that I can show you this in every episode. And I will not change who I am to fake the good man look. I will show you who I am because I'm genuine. And you are my listener. And I want you to see this conversation between people I find fascinating or interesting or challenging, or people that challenge my own beliefs and biases, and people opposite of myself. I want you to be able to hear these conversations and understand different people's viewpoints. I want you to listen to other people's stories. I want you to hear the way they've dealt with things. I want you to hear some funny stories of mistakes people have made in their life, including myself, dude. I'll be the first to tell you. I've had some funny, crazy mistakes, and that's life. Like, I can look back now and really just, it's funny to me, and I don't have to look back in shame or despair or hopelessness, or look back and like, oh, I'm still that person, because I'm not. Like, I've grown so much and I'm learning so much about myself as it is. It's quite amazing. And the fact I can do this show and still pay the bills, and I got a 9 to 5 and I kill it at my job. I look forward to work. I enjoy it. And I find passion in doing this. I have children, so my girls are my world. When I'm not doing this, I'm with my girls, and if I don't have my girls, like I do when I shoot the show, I shoot the show. You know what I mean? So I just try to stay busy. I don't want to get caught up, and I'm not looking for any type of woman right now. I'm looking for cool people, like, that can be just interesting, that I can have a conversation with on the show, off the show, aside. That's like my personal life, but I enjoy the art of a conversation, and I think I possess the capability of having different types of conversations with a wide array of different people. a wide array of different people. But I want to understand why people are the way they are, and learn other people's struggles, because I know mine. That's for sure. And I want to know theirs, though. I want to know their passions, their interests, and I want it all recorded. I want to be able to sit here and explain, or have something explained to me that I have no business understanding. Because one thing I've noticed is I am just a wealth of useless knowledge. Useless knowledge, dude. Like, I am just full of a bunch of bull knowledge, dude. I don't know whose bike that is, man, but it is crazy loud and crazy annoying. But what are you gonna do? Anyways, back to the show. I am excited to get this show started again. And again, I had my other podcast. I decided to just cut it off, and it was kind of my practice podcast, really. And this one I'm taking a lot more serious, and the guests I have on are going to be, people that I find fascinating and interesting. And I'm putting a little more effort into it, I do have a 9 to 5, so that does take a majority of my time. And then I do have 2 daughters. That takes another majority of my time. And so what I have as free time, or time to do what I'd like, I put towards this podcast. And, I manage my time accordingly. And I'm excited to bring this to you. And I hope you guys are too. If you did listen to the Everyday Guy podcast, you can still listen to all episodes on any podcast platform. You can also see them on YouTube. And then obviously after this, you can see this show, The House of Rudy, on any podcast platform, and also on YouTube. I will be putting out 1 to 2 episodes a week. I'm going to shoot for 2, but I will definitely be getting at least 1 out per week. And some will be with guests, some will not. But I want to, on my next episode, I'm going to do kind of just like a little background on the set I have here, and each of the different pieces I have up on the wall, and what they mean to me, because each one of these pieces has different meaning to me, and there's a reason I find it fascinating, and I love every single piece that I have on here. So, anyways, catch up on anything you want to know about me and from the Everyday Guy podcast. A lot of it was some fascinating, some not. Some was rambling, some was just incoherent jargon, man. You know what I'm saying? Just a bunch of BS. So this show, The House of Rudy, is gonna be a lot more focused, a lot more fun, and I'm just a lot more excited about this. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and I will catch you on the next episode. All right, peace.